Hi, guys. It's Coach Lacey. I am so happy that you're here. So, we're going to try something new here. If you're here seeing this, this is the first time I'm doing something like this, and I'm really excited to share this with you. I have created for you a beginner resistance training booklet. And I wanted to not just share the booklet, but also walk you through it and explain it. It just didn't feel enough to me once I created it to not really, I want to explain it. Like, I want to go in detail to help you. Like, my heart always wants to help you. If you don't know me, hi, as I said, I'm Coach Lacey. I am the coach and the owner of Fortify Fitness Coaching, or also known as Fortify with Lacey. Um, I coach women, and some of them compete on the bikini and fit model and wellness bodybuilding stage, and some of them get in the best shape of their life, and maybe it kind of crosses over to both. But women are my heart, and it is my desire to bring a woman into her best physique, feeling her best, looking her best, performing her best, and doing that for a long time, a good long-term quality of life. So this is where it starts. It starts with resistance training. Resistance training changed my life in all the most wonderful ways. I started resistance training when I was 38 years old, and it turned into bodybuilding. It's wild. I never thought that it would. And I did win my IFBB Pro card in the bikini division. And as of today, which is September 11th, of 2025, when I'm recording this, I am in the middle of deciding if I want to switch to competing in fit model as a pro instead of bikini. And whatever I decide, I will talk about that later for those who are interested. But you get to hear it early on, which is exciting. So let's jump into this. You can download this with this video. Um, you can print it if you want to, or you can just use it on a desktop or on your phone. But I want to walk through it with you so that you know exactly how to use it and you can get the most out of it, especially if you're new to resistance training. I was new once to resistance training. Every woman was. And so I want you to think about that. If it feels scary to resistance train in the gym, which is using dumbbells, barbells, Smith machine, free weights, is what they're called sometimes. If you just the weight room, if that's intimidating to you, I want you to know I had a first time too. And I used that feeling and that memory to help me create this for you so that you could walk in and feel very secure. Because once you start weight training, it's going to change your life. It improves your long-term quality of life tremendously, and it does give you a nice physique. So let's walk through it. Um, so you just signed up for a crash course in confidence, strength, and maybe a little sweat. What I love about resistance training is that you don't sweat as much as you do if you do cardio. That was one of the first things I noted when I started. I was like, hey, I don't sweat as much, which I liked because it made my day. I'm a busy woman. You're a busy woman, probably. You know, women are busy. We don't have time to shower 3 times a day, right? When I was weight training, I didn't get so sweaty that I felt like I needed to shower like I would have with cardio. So I made a joke of it, but it's actually true. If weights have ever looked like intimidating hunks of metal, or you've thought dumbbells were only for the muscle guys grunting in the corner, you're in the right place. This course is here to show you that resistance training isn't scary at all. It's empowering. By the end, you'll know your way around the gym, laugh at your old fears, and maybe even flex in the mirror a little. And don't worry, we all do it. And it's okay. In fact, I love to see pictures of women flexing in the mirror because I'm like, yes, ma'am, celebrate your body, celebrate the changes that are happening. It's exciting. Okay, module 1. We have to start with mindset. Before we talk about anything that walks us into the gym, we have to start with our mind about it, okay? And I want you to remember something. Fear fades with a familiarity. When you become familiar with something, the fear fades. Another example would be I'm very introverted and I don't like new places. New places make me feel insecure. Why is that? Because I'm not familiar with the layout. So there's fear there. But once I get to know the place, I'm good to go. Same thing with the gym. The more that you go, the easier it's going to get just in terms of how you feel about it. Okay. Yes, the first time might be difficult because it's something new. That's okay. Face that fear that one time, and then it's not as scary again. All right. These are the times when I wish I could just go with you. I I want to go with you because I really want you to be able to do this. Confidence in the gym is built the same way muscle is, rep by rep, just going again and again and again. Okay. Key principles that I want you to remember. And I really had to be careful with these. I had 100. I had to break it down to the most important. But with that being said, the very first thing I said is you belong in the gym. You belong there. I don't care what you look like. I don't care what your history is. I don't care if you've never been in a gym before. I don't care about any of that. You belong, period. You belong in the gym. You are welcome there. You don't have to look a certain way, know certain things. Just go. You belong in the gym. Okay. Second thing, everyone starts somewhere. And I told you I had a first day. I had a first time lifting weights. I had a first time walking into the weight room. We all do. Everyone starts somewhere. Please remember that. If you walk into a gym and you're intimidated by seeing someone who looks like they've been there a few times, just remember they had a first time too. Okay. Progress is greater than perfection. We hear that a lot. It's true. Okay. Sometimes people just say it, to be nice, or it's the thing to say. It's true. Progress is greater than perfection. You can't be perfect. I'm not perfect. I've been weight training for 10 years. Not perfect, but I do make progress every day. And that's where the magic happens. What I would love for you to do, and I always look at these activities, like when I see them in a workbook, I'm like, oh, I don't like activities, but this one's worthwhile. I won't ask you to do this often because I'm not about filler things. I'm about things that actually move you forward. I think this can. Um, Write down one affirmation you'll use when walking into the gym. Did something I say stand out to you? Did something I say make you feel a little more empowered to go? Write that down and then say that to yourself before you go in. Okay. It's like your little pep talk before you go in. I can't be there with you. I want to be, but I can't. But take something that I said and make a pep talk out of it and then get your butt in the gym. You can do this. And then I just shared at the bottom, the heaviest weight in the gym is sometimes the front door. Once you get past it, you're winning. That first time, just go in. Just go on in there. Okay, let's move on to module 2. Resistance training basics. Resistance is any force your muscles push against or pull against, if we're being real about it all. Dumbbells, machines, bands, body weight. So when you hear someone say resistance training, sometimes that can be confusing because you're like, is it weight training? Is it the same thing? It's all the same thing. It's just a force that your muscles are pushing against. And there's five movements that you need to know. And once you know the movements, like there's tons of exercises you can do in the gym. Okay. But once you know these 5 movements, all those exercises fall underneath one of these 5. So it's really nice to know the 5, and then you can move on to all kinds of things. The first one is your squat. And there's a lot of ways to squat. There's wide squat, narrow squat, deep squat. There's so many. Okay. Hip hinge. That's an important one for women that want booties. If you want glutes, you got to know about the hip hinge. There's pushing, there's pulling, and there's carrying and core work. Okay. Those are the 5 beginner movements, and everything stems from them. It's simple. And then I made a little box for you to kind of show you, and then you could take notes on things, giving the examples. And I gave just a few. There's so many. I gave a few of what each of those would be. Module 3, your first program. So the plan. It's wonderful to start with 2 to 3 body workouts a week. That's perfect. A lot of times we want to jump into something really heavy, jump in. You don't need to. 2 to 3 times a week is a great start. That is an outstanding start. And you want to focus on your form. It's not about lifting heavy. I think an advantage that most women have over men is that we don't ego lift. Ego lifting gets you nowhere. I could go on for an hour about ego lifting, but I'm not going to, because if you're watching this, you're likely a woman and you're not going to ego lift. Focus on form. Form is so important. We don't want to get hurt. And you're not growing your muscle properly if you're not doing the exercise properly with proper form. You don't need to lift super heavy. Okay. It's about the form that you're lifting with, and then the time under tension. That's a little advanced, and we could talk about that in another video. But as long as you're focusing on form and going 2 to 3 days per week, you are off to a great start. So what you can do is warm up first. Okay. Here's a plan. Warm up first, just 5 minutes of light cardio, dynamic stretching. Get your body moving, okay? You don't want to go in cold. You're just warming your body up, letting your body know, hey, we're going to do some fun work here, okay? Then you're going to do 2 to 3 sets of each of those movements that we talked about. You're going to do 2 to 3 sets of a squat variation with 10 to 12 reps. And then you're going, wait a minute, what are sets? What are reps? So a set is an amount of reps. So one set could be 10 to 12 reps, for example. Then the second set is that same exercise, 10 to 12 reps. So let's say you're going to do a body weight squat. You're going to say 10. You're going to do 10. You're going to rest until you feel rested, which can be 30 seconds, 45 seconds. Then you're going to do 10 more. Then you're going to rest again. Then do 10 more. Now you've done 3 sets. Now you can move on to the next thing, which would be the hinge variation, and so on. Okay. And then do a little cool down. It doesn't have to be elaborate and long. It's just enough to end the routine, just cooling down. Okay. Tracking progress. It's so important to track progress. Wins aren't just the scale though. And that's part of tracking progress. Strength, energy, confidence. Those are all progress markers. And you want to track all of those things because it's all about collecting data. And when you have the data in front of you, you can make decisions because you have good data. Okay. So just remember, strength, energy, and confidence are progress markers, but we're going to talk about how to track the progress of the weights that you're lifting. So before you do that, though, I did add some questions for you to answer that I think are really important in terms of tracking progress that wouldn't be related to the scale. Non-scale victory. Those are so important, you guys. Don't ignore those. We get so hyper-focused on the scale, and the scale just tells us a little teeny piece of the puzzle, okay? You need to look at the other things too. What's an exercise that felt easier this week compared to last? Again, very important because you're going to start to notice, wow, this is getting easier. That means your muscles are growing. And that feels good because then you know there's evidence that you're making progress. Okay. And then where do I feel stronger in body and spirit? You're going to start to change. Weight training changes your body, but it also changes your mind. It changes the way that you handle things. It changes the way that you perceive stress. It's full changing of the body. It's incredible. And you won't know until you experience it. I mean, I could tell you all day long the benefits of it that go far beyond, initial aesthetic goals. You have to experience it for yourself. And I hope that you do. So when you track your progress, you will write down the exercise, how much weight you used. Write that down however you want to. That's information for you. Okay. And then any notes or reps. Okay. So if you did a body weight squat, you would say under weight used, you would say body weight. And then reps and notes, you'd say, I did 3 sets of 12. Then next week, when you do this exercise again, you're going to go, maybe since last week I did it with body weight, maybe this week I can hold on to 5-pound dumbbells and give that a try and then take notes on it. So each week you're progressing how much you're lifting, and that's called progressive overload, and that's how your muscles grow. So you can see why it's so important to track, but then be aware of what you wrote down for the next time to make decisions, okay? Module 5, gym confidence hacks. This might be my favorite part. Confidence doesn't come before the workout. It's built during it. I promise you that's true. I want you to go find out for yourself. I promise you that's true. So here's some tips for giving you gym confidence. And let me tell you, I personally have used these, okay? I don't always have gym confidence. You should know that, by the way. I'm an IFBB pro bikini athlete, and I'm telling you that I don't always have gym confidence. So please don't walk into a gym and think that if you see someone like me who's very fit, that I have all the confidence and that you should feel insecure. Nope, that's not true. I want you to remember that if you start feeling intimidated by someone in the gym who looks like they're more fit than you, they're just in a different part of the journey than you are. And guess what? They don't have all the confidence. I don't care how they present themselves. I promise you, they don't have all the confidence. There's so many days I don't have gym confidence. So here's some hacks. Headphones. They are your invisibility cloak. Put them on, poof, you're untouchable. Headphones are something I've utilized for years to just drown everybody else out and be in my own little space. And it's wonderful. Rock a hat and put that brim down low. You ever do that? Get the hat on down low. It's stealth mode for the gym, okay? Your eyes are blocked. Nobody can tell if you're checking your form or avoiding eye contact. They can't tell. And I always feel a little bit covered, like I'm safe from everybody. You pair the headphones and the hat, you're good to go. No one's bugging you. Go in with a written plan. you have one. If you have a plan, you're not going to stand there and be like, what should I do? Questioning what to do brings in insecurity. When you have a plan, you're like, I know what to do. And you go and you do it. If a machine looks confusing, pretend to stretch near it. I've done this so many times when I went to new gyms. Because believe me, there's machines I haven't seen before. Just pretend to stretch and then kind of look around at the instructions. Okay. I've also watched people from afar. If I see something I'm not sure quite how to use, I'll go somewhere a little further away and I'll kind of just watch somebody using it. Okay. You don't have to be afraid. Just find a way to figure it out. Start with lighter weights, learn the movement. That's perfectly acceptable. Just start with light weights and just move your body and see how it feels and see what makes sense to you. Celebrate every rep. Every rep matters. It's building your body, and that's exciting. You should celebrate that. If you don't know what to do, just walk around purposefully with a water bottle. You look like you're on a mission. Okay? Just nobody knows what you're doing. No one really cares, honestly. And if they do, I'm sorry for them. They should be worried about their own life. But just walk around with a water bottle, look around, and figure out what you're going to do next. Okay? Faith and fortitude. This is important. No discipline seems pleasant at the time, but painful. Later on, however, it produces a harvest of righteousness and peace for those who have been trained by it. And that's from Hebrews. And discipline isn't fun. It's not pleasant, but the result is. Okay? Resistance training is more than lifting weights, it's practicing discipline. Discipline means showing up even when it's uncomfortable and choosing what strengthens you in the long run over what feels easy in the moment. God calls us to do that same discipline in our spiritual lives. Training your body helps you understand the value of discipline in your faith walk, and that is so true too. They tie together. Just like sore muscles today grow into strength tomorrow, spiritual discipline like prayer, studying the word, living with integrity builds a stronger foundation of peace and righteousness. The gym is your classroom for discipline. Every rep is a reminder that what feels hard now will bring fruit later. So, reflection. How does the discipline of training my body remind me to be faithful in training my spirit? And I think that's worth reflecting on many times in your journey. What's one area of my life where God is asking me to show greater discipline right now? That's important too, because you'll see that you can. Once you understand that you can be disciplined in the gym and then with food also, you're going to see you can be disciplined in every area of your life at a really high level. You're going to achieve more of your goals that way. They do go hand in hand. Okay, so your challenge, commit to 2 workouts per week for 4 weeks. That's all I'm asking you to do. After that, we'll figure something else out. Journal after each session, one thing you learned and one thing you're proud of. You will be glad you did that, I promise. I've journaled my whole 10-year journey, and to go back and look at the journals, you can really see how far you go. Share your wins with a friend, sister, or a coach who will celebrate with you. I think that's one of the greatest advantages of having me as a coach is that I am pumped. When you have something to celebrate, I am pumped. But find someone you can share those things with. It's important. It's important to celebrate you and have somebody celebrate you. Final encouragement, you are becoming fortified, body, mind, and spirit. Every rep builds more than muscle. It builds the woman God designed you to be. If this challenge lit a spark in you and you're ready for more guidance, I would love personally to walk with you. I'm a coach, and coaching is where we take these baby steps and we turn them into a lifestyle. And it's a lot of fun to do it with me because I can teach you all kinds of little things along the way. So I'm here if you're ever ready for that. I would be so happy to coach you. And then just a reminder that every rep is a seed of courage. Keep planting. I love you. Good luck with this. I hope this helped you so much.